What common thing screams I make poor financial choices?
We've been dating for 3 months. Of course, let's join bank accounts.
That's not a red flag, that's crimson.
My girlfriend and I have been together for over 3 years. We're planning on getting married, and we still haven't combined finances. We'll probably open a joint account, but we both intend to keep our current accounts and each pay in a percentage of income, because we both want discretionary funds that are veto-proof. Also, things happen, and it's good to have backup money.
Get into debt to pay for a wedding.
I read a post on here one day suggesting it's better to save on the wedding and spend more on the honeymoon, and that made so much sense. I'm not married, but that's what I would do.
Seen a few people buy nearly all infant baby or toddler clothes new from expensive brands. The most surprising was a $350 Canada Goose winter jacket for a 4-month-old. The jacket barely lasted through the winter before it was too small. Oh, and nearly everyone I know who does this needs their parents' help each month to cover rent or mortgage payments.
For $350, I got into the Canada Goose coat myself after my 5-month-old outgrew it.
This is my sister to a T. She had a baby, and most of what she was asking for on her registry I already owned. I offered her my things for free, and she turned me down. Why did she turn me down, you might ask? Well, it's because she wanted to go through the process of purchasing new items for her daughter. My sister married into a very wealthy family and has come to expect a certain level of gift giving. Nothing on her baby registry was less than $250. The sense of entitlement is what ended our relationship. I haven't spoken to her in 3 years, and honestly, I don't think I ever will.
I am a real estate agent, and I work leads with my lender. We met this lady about 4 months ago who had poor credit and a low income. We helped her identify what she needed to do to improve her credit, and she mentioned she might be getting more money soon. We followed up last week. She had gotten a new, higher-paying job, but when my lender ran her credit, he saw she had just purchased a $64,000 car. He told her, "Things look better income-wise, but the car payments take up almost all of your debt-to-income ratio." She said, "I just can't win. I've got to get to work somehow." With that kind of car, I bet she gets to work pretty fast. My lender said the only house she'll get approved for now is a gingerbread house.
I recently moved out. My old roommate, who was already financially unstable, is staying in the house, which means his rent went from $530 to $1,060. 2 weeks before I moved out, he decided to upgrade his car. I told him to shop around and look at different APR rates, etc. He came home with a car worth maybe $23,000 at most, but bought it for $28,000 with a 6-year loan at 10% interest. 6 years from now, he will have paid $38,000 for a 2015 Scion S. Cheers.
Buying the latest everything. I have a coworker who struggles to pay rent, but buys a new iPhone every time a new model comes out. Edit. Lots of justification posts, minimizing something that every financial advisor tells you not to do. The iPhone thing was just an example. I've seen other cases like someone replacing a 1-year-old set of rims because a new style came out, all while being on the edge of eviction.
I work for a cell phone carrier, and about 80% of renewals are reasonable. I've had my phone for more than 3 to 4 years, and it's time for another. And 10% are, I use this phone every day for my job, so I need the latest tech. Or I have the money for it. But there's that remaining 10% who come in with a flawless iPhone 11 Pro Max with 512 GB of storage and still want the iPhone 12 Pro Max 512 GB, even though they'll end up paying over $400 in unnecessary fees. I just can't understand why.
We used to have people come into the garage with slick tires, brakes worn down to the metal or close to it, and all kinds of knocks and noises while the inside of the car looked like a landfill. But they'd get out and ask for an oil change or how to patch something up cheaply because they were short on money. They'd be wearing all designer clothes, have the latest phone, and be covered in hair gel or makeup. A few of them even sent their dads down or came with them, complaining that we were trying to overcharge them. They were basically driving on hope, and if you turn up the stereo loud enough, the noise goes away.
Rolling car payments into your next car. I can't count how many people I know who traded in perfectly functioning cars they still owed money on because they needed something newer or outgrew their current car. I know someone who was paying $900 a month for a Hyundai Tucson that was listed for around $25,000. It eventually got repossessed.
It's called rolling negative equity, and it's definitely a bad idea. I did this once. When I was several years younger, I bought a brand new 2014 Jetta Sportwagon TDI. 9 months later, I was at the VW dealership, and the new version, this time called the Golf Sportwagon, had just come out. I asked if they had one, and they did. I bought it on the spot, a fully loaded TDI SEL. Since it was so new, I paid MSRP, plus the taxes were rolled in. They gave me $21,000 for my Jetta Sport Wagon, which I still owed $27,000 on. That meant I financed $6,000 of negative equity. And that's how, even with a decent interest rate, I ended up with a $750 car payment on a Volkswagen. I got lucky because VW bought back the Golf Sport Wagon during the diesel scandal, and VW Financial canceled the remaining loan balance. But I will never do that again.
Relying on pawn shops every time you're low on cash. I knew a woman who regularly pawned some jewelry, then got it back on payday, only to pawn it again a few weeks later. Edit: I never expected so many likes and replies to this. I also never realized this, and similar situations were so common, mostly because many people simply don't have other options. Thank you everyone for sharing your experiences. And thank you, kind stranger, for the silver.
It's a vicious cycle. I got caught up in it for years in my early 20s. It all started because my roommate went to jail for 30 days. I was a cook living paycheck to paycheck, and suddenly I needed to cover the other $400 of rent. I went and got a payday loan. The next month when I got paid, I paid it off. But then I was once again a few hundred short. I made poor spending choices along the way, but every other month I was going from one payday loan place to another, just to pay off the previous one. That went back and forth for quite some time until I got my spending under control and started earning more money.
I dated a guy who always spent his paycheck impulsively. If rent was due a day or two after payday, it got paid. If it was due a day or two before payday, it didn't. It never occurred to him that he needed to budget his paycheck to cover his expenses. His mom had always taken care of whatever he didn't pay, so he never had to think about what his check needed to cover. After a while, his car stopped working and he couldn't afford to fix it, and he eventually had to move out of his apartment because he didn't pay rent.
I feel bad saying this, and I am in no way criticizing anyone who lives in a mobile home. My husband's family is a family of 8. They lived in a 2-bedroom mobile home where they paid very little rent and had everyone squeezed in. 3 to a room, some even sharing a twin bed, but each of the ones who could drive, about 4 of them, always had a brand new car from that same year. Not used or pre-owned, it had to be brand new with no miles. They could have easily gotten a bigger place, but they never wanted to because they liked having nice cars and knew that if they got a house or a larger mobile home, they wouldn't be able to afford the new cars.
Many posts on relationship forums talk about couples buying a house together and then breaking up. If you think marriage is too big a step, maybe buying a house together is too. I lived with my friends and their mom. They were very well off, but one day the washer broke while I was using it. The mom and her son completely lost it about having to pay for a new one. Meanwhile, the mom gets at least 3 Amazon packages a day. The son works a 13-an-hour job that he hates, drives a 2018 Jeep Grand Cherokee with black rims, and buys every figurine or collectible that catches his eye. For context, despite earning $13 an hour, he only pays a small amount of rent to his mom, who still does his laundry and makes most of his work lunches. He's 27. He also has little to no tuition to pay for his degree. His mom owns a 2018 Grand Cherokee, an older Wrangler, and a lake house. They live in a $500,000 home with a huge yard. Oh, and his mom is giving him and his wife that house, with 95% of the mortgage already paid off.
Want me to talk about a similar topic? Leave it in the comments.